Ava loved her bookstore. The Saltwind Bookshop was her haven. She touched the worn spines of classic novels, each page holding a world waiting to be discovered, but Ava hid from her own world. A past heartbreak left her wary, finding solace in the quiet corners of her shop, surrounded by the comforting presence of books. Meanwhile, Ethan, a marine biologist, lived a life of adventure, spending his days studying endangered sea turtles. The vast ocean called to him, offering a thrill in protecting vulnerable creatures. Yet, he shied away from commitment, seeing relationships as fleeting as the tides, pouring his heart into his research, using the ocean as an escape from lasting connections. One afternoon, Ethan wandered into Saltwind Bookshop. They began talking, hesitant at first. Ethan admired the bookstore's cozy charm, while Ava was fascinated by his stories of rescuing sea turtles. He spoke with a passion that made her heart race. They discovered a shared love for adventure novels. Ava saw a reflection of her own longing for exploration in Ethan's eyes. Drawn to the Saltwind Bookshop day after day, Ethan would invent excuses to stop by. Sometimes he needed help finding a book on marine life. Other times he craved Ava's company, lingering by the counter, their conversations stretching longer with each visit. Ava found herself anticipating his visits, filled with a nervous excitement she hadn't felt in years. She carefully selected books she thought he might enjoy, tucking away newspaper clippings about marine conservation, hoping he'd see her thoughtfulness. As the days warmed into summer, so did their connection. They'd stroll along the beach after Ava closed the bookstore, opening up to each other under the starlit sky, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore becoming the soundtrack of their budding romance. Despite the growing attraction, doubts lingered. Ava couldn't shake the fear of being hurt again. Her past heartbreak left invisible scars, holding her back, afraid to let Ethan get too close, worried that history would repeat itself. Ethan, used to the freedom of the open sea, felt tethered by his feelings for Ava. He cherished their time together, yet the thought of commitment sent a shiver of apprehension through him. He worried about jeopardizing his research, feared the intensity of his feelings, and wondered if he was capable of giving Ava what she deserved. One evening, Ethan confessed his fear of commitment to Ava, speaking in a low voice, staring out at the waves crashing against the shore. Ava listened, her heart sinking, seeing her own fear mirrored in his eyes. The weight of their unspoken insecurities hung heavy in the air. The following day, Ava retreated to the comfort of her bookstore, busying herself with organizing shelves and attending to customers. Ethan didn't visit. His absence spoke volumes. Ava felt a wave of sadness wash over her, missing his presence, his laughter, his touch, wondering if he was gone for good. Unbeknownst to Ava, Ethan hadn't disappeared. He was wrestling with his own turmoil. He paced the beach, his thoughts as turbulent as the sea during a storm. He couldn't shake the image of Ava's face. He realized his fear of commitment paled in comparison to the thought of losing her. Days later, Ethan returned to Saltwind Bookshop. He stood at the entrance, his heart pounding in his chest. He saw Ava behind the counter, her back to him. She was helping a customer. He watched her, his love for her washing over him with renewed force. Ava sensed his presence. She turned, her eyes widening in surprise. He looked at her with a newfound determination in his eyes. He stepped closer, reaching for her hand. His touch sent a familiar warmth through her. In that moment, she knew she couldn't let her fears dictate her life. Ethan confessed his love for Ava. He spoke with a sincerity that brought tears to her eyes. He promised to face his fear of commitment. He vowed to cherish her always. Ava, her heart overflowing with emotion, whispered her love for him. The walls she'd built around herself crumbled. Their friends, sensing the shift in their relationship, rallied around them. They offered words of encouragement and support. They reminded them of the special bond they shared. Sarah, Ava's spirited best friend and owner of the local bakery, baked them a celebratory cake. She decorated it with fondant seashells and a miniature book. The town, with its charming seaside cottages and friendly locals, played a role in their journey. Ava and Ethan found solace in shared walks along the harbour. They enjoyed cozy dinners at candlelit restaurants overlooking the ocean. The familiar faces and warm greetings reminded them of the beauty of a close-knit community. Ethan's dedication to his work deepened. He found a renewed passion for protecting endangered sea turtles. He drew inspiration from Ava's unwavering support. He even named a newly hatched turtle after her. Ava's creativity blossomed. She began writing again, pouring her heart and soul into her novel. Ethan's love story became her muse. Ava and Ethan learned that love wasn't about erasing their pasts. It was about embracing their vulnerabilities and supporting each other's dreams. They realized that true love required courage, trust, and a willingness to weather life's storms together. As the sun began to set on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the shore, Ava and Ethan stood hand in hand on the beach. They watched a group of newly hatched sea turtles make their way to the ocean. Each tiny flipper print in the sand represented a new beginning. Ethan, his eyes filled with love and admiration, turned to Ava. He told her how lucky he was to have found her. He confessed that she had shown him the true meaning of love. He promised to spend the rest of his life cherishing her. Ava, her heart overflowing with happiness, leaned into his embrace. She whispered that he had taught her to trust again. She vowed to love him with every fiber of her being. The sound of the waves crashing against the shore seemed to echo their love, a love that had weathered storms and emerged stronger than ever. In the tranquility of that moment, they both knew that their love story was just beginning. They had found solace in each other's arms. They had discovered a love as boundless as the ocean and as enduring as the tides.